So hey anime fans, the series name is What If Naruto Got Harem with Kung Fu Panda. So let's start the series. Opening his dark blue eyes, Naruto checked out his room. It was only an essential room with a bed, cabinets, and a window with an ideal perspective on the Jade Royal residence, which is high up the mountains. He stood up from his bed, extended, and took a gander at the full body reflect that was joined to the pantry. All he was wearing was dark jeans as his tails washed languidly behind him, every one of them 9. He was a fox with 9 tails and had dull orange, almost red, fur with fair hair on top. His tails and ears were tipped with white. He murmured and thought, another bad dream. It was very much like his other dreams, tokens of the past that he wishes also neglect, yet he would never let them go. He was cut from his viewpoints when there was a thump at his entryway. No doubt, he called. "Naruto, now is the ideal time to get up," said a teen female voice. "I'm coming, I am," he expressed back as he put garments something. He was wearing his dark jeans with an open red vest over his middle. He murmured as he opened his entryway and went first floor. When he arrived he said, "Good day." I am, who was an earthy-colored feline with earthy-colored eyes and was wearing a cover, said, "Morning." A man, Tucci, showed up close to them. He seemed to be an old feline with his eyes shut as he likewise wore a cover. Both he and I am have been with Naruto since he was 5, so he was for all intents and purposes family to them. They additionally own a ramen cafe called Ikaraku's. "Morning Naruto. Could you at any point assist with the clients?" "Sure," he said, putting a cover on. He strolled by a table and 2 or 3 dishes of ramen. His 9 tails got 1 each too. As he strolled he really wanted to look at the Jade Royal residence with a feeling like something planned to occur. Jade Castle. Ace Shifu, a red panda, sat calmly in a nursery as he played a woodwind. As he played he could detect 5 people around him. Out of nowhere from behind a snake shot out and afterward a tiger, and a monkey structure his front, a crane from his left, and a mantis from his right, all seemed running and flying at him. Opening his eyes Shifu stood up and diverted the snake's assault, dodged under the tiger's kick, flipped out of sight and stirred things up around town on the head with his woodwind and flipped over the monkey and mantis. He kept on evading or divert every one of their assaults until he flagged them all to stop. "Great understudies," he said cheerfully as they generally stood, "in the event that you were attempting to frustrate me." He pointed the flute the tiger, "Tigress, you really want greater savagery." He highlighted the monkey, more prominent speed, then the crane, level, then, at that point, the snake, nuance. At last he motioned to mantis, he was removed by a bird. "Ace Shifu." "What?" he yelled back pointing the flute. "It's Lord Oogway, he needs to see you," he said in dread, making the red panda's eyes extend. It didn't take yearn for Shifu to race to the corridor of legends, a lobby that contained different unbelievable weapons and the look of the mythical beast fighter. Toward the end, before the moon pool, you could see a shell adjusted on a stick. When Shifu was sufficiently close, he halted and inhaled tranquilly. When done he bowed separately and inquired, "Expert Oogway, you brought me? Is an off-base thing?" The shell moved around and you can see a matured, topsy-turvy, turtle. He grabbed hold of the staff and descended easily, saying, "For what reason must something be off-base for me to need to see my close buddy?" "Thus, everything seems okay?" asked back a confounded Shifu. "All things considered, I didn't say that," he said. Then, at that point, he blew a candle, and afterward another light, and afterward another flame. Shifu's right eye was jerking wildly as his jaw essentially off the actual wall in dismay. Stepping up to the plate, Shifu brought his arms back and afterward pushed them forward, which extinguished the other candles. "You were saying?" "I had a dream," said Oogway. He then, at that point, gazed at Shifu. "Tai Lung will return." Shifu's eyes enlarged in shock as recollections flew through his psyche. He recalled all the obliteration that he caused. That is unthinkable. He is in jail. Oogway grinned. The sky is the limit, he said astutely. Zhang, yelled Shifu, referring to the bird that educated him as, fly to Chordong jail and advise them to twofold the gatekeepers, twofold the weapons, twofold everything. Tai Lung doesn't leave that jail. Indeed, expert Shifu, yelled Zhang as he took off as quick as possible. Tragically, the bird didn't have the foggiest idea about where he was going as he flew into a point of support and afterward left the sanctuary. One frequently meets his predetermination on the street he takes to stay away from it, remarked Oogway. We need to follow through with something, said Shifu wildly. We can't allow him to walk into the valley, get his payback. He'll dash. Your brain resembles this water, old buddy. When it is fomented, it becomes challenging to see, he said, utilizing his staff to contact the water and making swells happen. Yet in the event that you permit it to settle, the answer turns out to be clear. As the water settled and all the sakura petals moved, Shifu saw an appearance in the water. It was the mythical serpent sculpture on the rooftop, and it held the mythical beast parchment. The mythical serpent parchment, heaved out Shifu. The time has come. Be that as it may, why should Commendable be entrusted with the key to boundless power? To turn into the winged serpent hero? There was a snapshot of quietness before Oogway offered something that almost made Shifu face shortcoming. I don't have the foggiest idea. Ikaraku's. Naruto advanced across the cafe providing individuals their orders. Everyone grinned at him and the youngsters giggled, but Naruto halted what he was doing when he saw a couple of ducks hand a banner up, going ready. He read it and wheezed, Expert Oogway will pick the mythical serpent champion today. Everyone kicked up and off, strolling towards the Jade Castle. Naruto was going to head there until he felt something being put onto his back. Looking, he saw it was a convenient kitchen utilized for ramen. He saw both Tucci and Iam were wearing them too. What? Asked Tucci. We need to sell ramen, so we should go. They all went up and Naruto couldn't resist the opportunity to moan at how much advances. When they arrived at the top, it was for all intents and purposes a procession with a ton of celebrations. It is a notable day, expressed Shifu as he strolled with Oogway, looking as the preliminaries were set up. Isn't it, Expert Oogway? Indeed, and one I dreaded I couldn't live to see, he said cheerfully. Are your understudies prepared? Indeed, Expert Oogway. Oogway then, at that point, checked Shifu. Know this close buddy, whomever I pick won't just carry harmony to the valley, yet additionally to you, he said, making Shifu squint his eyes in disarray out. A pig then, at that point, ventured forward. When everyone was prepared, let the competition start. Everyone applauded and cheered. Naruto, Tucci, and Iam all began serving out ramen to creatures that needed it. Residents of the Valley of Harmony, it is my significant privilege to present to you Tigress, Snake, Crane, Monkey, Mantis. The irate five, yelled Shifu. Naruto watched in surprise as the enraged five bounced very high and landed flawlessly. Crane even figured out how to make a flood of wind that took the little kids an inch off the ground. Heroes, get ready. Crane remained on the field as the rest remained out of the way. A Goliath system was pushed forward and Naruto overheard a resident call it the Thousand Tongues of Fire. For the following hour Naruto looked as four of the irate five performed kung fu that stunned the crowd. Him, Tucci, and Iam have figured out how to serve a great deal of ramen, yet Naruto realized he actually had somewhat left, so he approached Oogway and Shifu and inquired, Experts, could both of you like some ramen? I could cherish some, expressed Oogway cheerfully. Shifu recently shrugged and acknowledged a bowl. How about you go serve the five champions? I'm certain they are eager. Naruto gestured cheerfully. He approached every one of them and they each had a bowl. However, Tigress denied. He shrugged and went to the side to remove the ramen stuff from his back. At last, yelled Shifu, expert tigress. The group cheered at this. Naruto was going to begin applauding until a sound got his ear. Checking out, he chose to go see what it was. Expert tigress faced the iron bull and his sharp edges of death. Naruto heard. Following a moment of looking through, Naruto saw it was a fire going to light a huge firecracker. Eyes enlarging, he attempted to step it out without understanding that one of his tails is getting found out in a rope joined to the firecracker. Oogway detected something and lifted his hand. Seeing this, everyone went quiet. I sense the mythical serpent fighter is among us. Shifu gestured and the irate five remained in a line. Residents of the Valley of Harmony. Ace Oogway will presently pick the mythical beast fighter. Oogway and Shifu gradually ventured down and moved toward the champions. Back with Naruto, the fire wouldn't be stepped out. When he understood, it was past the point of no return as it lighted and flew very high, with Naruto alongside it. Fortunately, Naruto got his tail off of the rocket before it detonated. Tragically, he didn't understand how high up he was until he peered down. He shouted and fell and was thumped oblivious when he hit the ground. When he woke up, everything was fluffy. As it became more clear, the primary thing he saw was Mantis and the other incensed five taking a gander at him with stress. Well, Tigress just looked irritated and maddened. What occurred? He asked drowsily. Checking out, he saw Oogway pointing at him with a flabbergasted grin. Acknowledging what happened, he immediately stood talking about, sorry. Sorry. How fascinating, remarked Oogway. Ace, are you pointing at me? Asked Tigress with trust. Him, he expressed, pointing at Naruto. Who? Asked back Naruto. Moving around, he saw Oogway keep on pointing at him. You, he said happily. Me? Asked a stunned Naruto. The universe has presented to us the mythical beast fighter, yelled Oogway as he utilized his staff to raise Naruto's arm. What? What? Yelled the angry five. What? Yelled Shifu. What? Yelled Tucci and I am. A gong went off and a motorcade began. Ducks showed up with a carriage and lifted Naruto up onto it. Stop. Pause. Who told you to dash? Shifu was overlooked as the ducks kept on conveying him. Expert Oogway. Stand by, yelled Shifu. That fox couldn't really be the solution to our issue. You were going to point at Tigress until that thing fell before her. That was only a mishap. Oogway never lost his grin as Shifu spoke. There are no mishaps. As the ducks diverted Naruto, the enraged five approached Shifu and bowed with disgrace. Excuse us, expert, we have bombed you. No, said Shifu, raising his arm. In the event that the fox has not stopped by morning, then I will have bombed you. Chorgam Jail. Zing flew sluggishly as he moved toward the jail. He was drained to such an extent that he crashed. Arrived before 2 or 3 rhino monitors. Pause. Stand by. I bring a message, he yelled when they drew their weapons, from expert Shifu. What? Yelled a profound voice. When Zing told Leader Vatcher what Shifu needed, the rhino was irate. Twofold the gatekeeper. Additional insurances. Your jail may not be sufficient. Zing laughed anxiously. You question my jail security. In no way, shape or form, expressed Zing as serious as possible. Shifu does, I'm simply the courier. I'll give you a directive for your Lord Shifu, he said prior to strolling with the duck following. Break from Chorgam Jail is unimaginable. Zing peered down and saw they were at the top generally level of the jail. Great, isn't it? It's exceptionally great, murmured Zing as he shook in dread. One way in, one way out. 1,000 watchmen. Also, just a single detainee. Indeed, then again, actually detainee is Tai Lung. The two of them went on to a component. Bring us down, requested Vatcher. The instrument took them. For entertainment, Vatcher shook the chains, making Zing significantly more terrified. when they got to the last, a door opened. "See, Tai Lung. I'm about to stand by here. It's nothing to stress over, it's completely protected," expressed Vatcher as he slapped Zheng forward, crossbows, primed and ready. All crossbows were then pointed straight for Tai Lung. "Crossbows," murmured Zheng. "Hello troublemaker, did you hear?" asked Vatcher moving toward Tai Lung's inclined structure. His hands had binds that associated with enormous rocks over the side, and on his back was a lock that halted Tai Lung's development. "Oogway's giving somebody the winged serpent parchment, and it won't be you." "What are you doing?" murmured Zheng boisterously. "Don't get him distraught." "What's he going to do about it?" "I have him totally immobilized." To demonstrate he was correct, Vatcher trampled Tai Lung's tail as hard as possible. Tai Lung didn't move. Vatcher then went near him and said, similar to a little youngster, "Did I step on the little kitty's tail?" Not taking his risks, Zheng said, "I'm great, I've sufficiently seen. I'll tell Shifu he doesn't have anything to stress over." "No he doesn't," said Vatcher, glad that he substantiated himself right. "I'll let him know that. Might we at any point kindly go at this point?" One of Zheng's quills fell before Tai Lung, making him open his eyes in obscurity. Jade Royal Residence. Naruto was overpowered by how much supporting him. The subsequent they entered the Jade Castle. The ducks tossed Naruto out of the carriage. "Ow," said Naruto, "I think there was an error. Everybody feels that I am the winged serpent fighter." He murmured prior to pivoting and saw where he was, the corridor of legends. He glanced around. "This spot looks cool," he mumbled. He moved toward a sword that had a green Chinese mythical beast on it. On the lower part of the stand was a plaque that said, "The Sword of Legends," said to be sharp to the point that you can cut yourself by simply looking. Looking into Naruto gazed at it prior to attempting to hold it. He just moved a couple inches away prior to withdrawing his hand and recoiling. "Ow." Naruto kept on glancing around prior to seeing he was in good company. Looking towards the moon pool he saw Shifu. "Expert Shifu," he said bowing. "So you're the unbelievable mythical beast champion?" he asked logically. "No doubt about that, there was an error and dash. Obviously there was a slip-up," yelled Shifu strolling around Naruto. "You are not the mythical serpent champion. You won't ever be the mythical beast fighter until you have taken in the mystery of the mythical serpent parchment," he expressed, highlighting the highest point of the room and at the mythical beast sculpture. "One must initially dominate the most elevated level of kung fu, and that is plainly unimaginable in the event that that one is somebody like you." "Like me," rehashed, disliking what he heard. "Indeed, nicely done. I have never seen a fox with 9 tails previously." He made a stride back. "Oogway might have picked you, however when I'm through with you, I guarantee you, you will wish he hadn't." "Is it safe to say that we are clear?" "Indeed," expressed Naruto with a snarl. "Great, I can hardly hold on to get everything rolling," expressed Shifu with a shrewd smile. He then, at that point, drove Naruto to the enraged Five's preparation room, where they were currently preparing. He looked as Crane fled and arrived on a precarious bowl, while hindering bolts from various bearings. Tigress then flipped over to him and they began competing. Mantis arrived close to the bowl and shot through a great deal of spiked preparing fakers. Snake was evading discharge as she crawled around. At long last Monkey was swinging around on the roof and completed a pointless task that had edges surrounding it. Tigress then went on to a turning instrument that seemed to be snakes. She was likewise avoiding a few swinging clubs that had spikes on them. Out of nowhere she crushed one and the wood went flying directly at Naruto. Paying attention to his gut feelings, Naruto dodged under an enormous piece of wood and gotten a more modest yet that would have hit his face. Shifu was astounded when he saw this. "Well, we should start," he expressed, needing to see Naruto lose and leave the sanctuary. "As of now?" asked Naruto. "Indeed now, except if you think the incomparable Oogway was off base and you are not the winged serpent hero," said Shifu, for all intents and purposes saying, "Get the damnation out of the sanctuary." Once and for all. I'm not the mythical beast. Naruto was removed when Monkey unintentionally arrived behind him and pushed him. Naruto went ahead and onto the turning snake instruments. Despite the fact that he had never done anything like this, Naruto showed he had incredible equilibrium as his tails kept him upstanding. The angry five arrived close to Shifu and was going to help Naruto until their lord halted them, saying, "This ought to be great." As Naruto approached, his senses went off once more and his tail shot up, clicking one of the clubs, but the power of the effect actually blew Naruto away and into the huge jade green bowl. He figured out how to receive in return, be that as it may. When he did, went straight into the spiked fakers. He utilized his tails and arms to hinder, yet some hit him. This will be simpler than I naturally suspected. Subsequent to receiving in return, Naruto thought he was protected. That was until he heard an odd sound and peered down. It was then that he understood that he was remaining on the field of fire. With extraordinary karma he figured out how to stay away from a large portion of the impacts, with a couple really hitting him. He got done and fallen while breathing vigorously. How did I do?" he asked, gasping. You could perceive Shifu was distraught, seeing that Naruto hadn't surrendered. Sometime thereafter, "There are no words," expressed Mantis as he and the others strolled up the moves toward their rooms. "There is no rejecting that," remarked Crane. "What was expert Oogway thinking?" asked Snake. "Poor people fellow will wind up dead." "He is so powerful," expressed Crane with mockery. The winged serpent champion dropped out of the sky on a wad of fire. The others, however, Tigress, giggled. "One would figure expert Oogway would pick somebody who really knew kung fu," said Tigress. They generally giggled and kept strolling without realizing Naruto was sitting behind a tree. He was miserable, despite the fact that he realized he wasn't the mythical serpent fighter. He basically made an honest effort, as they ridiculed him. Recollections of his past occurred to him. He almost shouted, so he did the main thing he could imagine. Run! He went through the backwoods without knowing where he was going. Sooner or later he halted and saw he was on a slope with a peach tree, a long way from the sanctuary. It was here that he shouted. He shouted to the sky, however he found no solution, until, "I see you have found the hallowed peach tree of eminent insight," said a voice from behind. Turning, Naruto saw it was Oogway, expert. He welcomed prior to checking the tree. "I assumed I found an irregular peach tree out." "I get it, you go to disconnected places when you are vexed." "Who said I was vexed?" asked back Naruto as he dismissed. "Your eyes," said the turtle. "I can perceive how you feel by simply investigating your eyes. I saw that you were upset, and I likewise saw that you have a disturbed past." Naruto's eyes extended at this. "So for what reason would you say you are vexed?" Moaning, Naruto plunked down against the tree. "Even thought I made an honest effort. I embarrassed myself before expert Shifu and the five." "Presumably," remarked Oogway. "What's more, as of late I heard the five talking despite my good faith. They can't stand me. Clearly. I used to have regard for everybody here, except expert Shifu, and the others have lost my regard. I know I'm bad at kung fu, but rather they could essentially help me as opposed to condemning me." Naruto moaned once more. "I should presumably leave. I don't have a place here. I have more possibility making noodles for ikirakus than learning kung fu here." Oogway grinned. "Unfortunately, quit, don't stop, noodles, don't noodles." Naruto checked him. "You are excessively worried about what and will be. There's an expression, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a secret, and today is a gift. For that reason it is known as the present," he said carefully and as an insane old turtle simultaneously. He started to leave as raised a ruckus around town. As he strolled by it, a peach dropped out of the tree and arrived in Naruto's grasp, making the fox grin out. At last he got back to the sanctuary. He gradually strolled, not mindful in the event that he made any commotion. Similarly, as he got to his room's entryway, the entryway behind him opened to show Tigress. "You don't have a place here," she said. Her eyes appeared to drill into his through the dull. "You don't have a place in the Jade Castle. You are ashamed to kung fu, and in the event that you have any regard for what our identity is and what we do, you will be gone before breakfast, she said. More recollection streaked all through his psyche, making Naruto hold his head in torment. Seeing this, Tigress was going to inquire as to whether he was okay, yet he moved into his room. Similarly, as he was going to close the entryway, he looked at her without flinching and said, I may not have a place here and that every one of you track down me a shame, yet I actually attempt. I realize I'm not the winged serpent champion and I know expert Oogway planned to pick you until I arrived before you, however that doesn't give any of you the option to advise me to pause and leave. As he spoke, Tigress' eyes extended when she saw the assurance in his eyes. I will remain, not to demonstrate anybody right, that I'm a shame or that I am the mythical serpent fighter. I will remain to demonstrate that I am Naruto Uzumaki and that I won't ever surrender. With that he shut his entryway, leaving a staggered Tigress. He opened the entryway once more. Likewise, on the off chance that you or the others have anything to say, express it to my face as opposed to despite my good faith. Good night. Tigress. Then he shut the entryway. Chorgom Jail. Tai Lung utilized his tail and got the plume that arrived before him. Utilizing it, he put it in the lock on his back. His tail moved the quill in a mind-boggling manner. In the long run the lock made a commotion and it opened itself, permitting Tai Lung to take a full breath. He extended his paws and let them break with a delightful sound. Portions of the lock shot of every which way, then, at that point, it detonated off of him. Vatcher hurried to the edge and peered down in Tai Lung's bearing. Seeing him attempting to get away, goodness, he yelled. What's going on? Yelled Zhang as he ran close to Vatcher. Tai Lung snarled as he attempted to stand. It was troublesome with 2 stones attached to his arms, however he oversaw it. When stood he gazed directly toward Vatcher and thundered. Seeing this, Vatcher yelled, fire crossbows. Shoot! Yelled a trooper. They each shot an enormous bolt. In any case, while stopping, Tai Lung moved far removed, making the bolts bang into the ground around. Bolt was shot, yet this time, Tai Lung moved so it would hit his right sleeve, really obliterating it. With his currently free hand, he crushed the other sleeve. Tai Lung is free. I should caution Shifu, yelled Zing, yet Vatcher snatched him before he could leave. You're not going anyplace, nor is he, yelled Vatcher. Bring it up, he yelled, alluding to the instrument. Stand by, yelled a warrior. Bring it back, he yelled as it was raised. Tai Lung snarled, however turned, seeing one more bolt being taken shots at him. It approached, yet he diverted it and discharged it back into a wall. He did likewise for the 4 bolts that were in the ground. He broke his neck prior to bouncing onto the last bolt, and launched himself towards the following bolt. He's coming along these lines, yelled Zeng, actually being held. He will not get far, Bowmans. Vatcher yelled. Many ordinary bolts were shot towards Tai Lung. Seeing them coming, he immediately bounced towards the as yet moving instrument. He figured out how to get the base and utilized it to stop the bolts hitting him. The rhinos at the top immediately cut the chain, sending the system back down. Similarly, as they were going to observe, Tai Lung showed up and thumped them away with a split kick. He snatched the chain and hopped over the side. The energy swung him and sent off him up to a higher level. Easily, he beat all the rhino fighters and went to a higher level. Doing likewise, he figured out how to get to the top where the other troopers, Vatcher and Zeng, were hanging tight for him. We're dead, so extremely dead, said Zeng. Vatcher giggled. Not yet, we're not. He focused on a specific bowman. Presently, he terminated a blazing bolt towards the roof. Tai Lung watched and broadened his eyes when he saw it hitting explosives. Enormous bits of rock fell and rammed into the stone extension. Decisively, Tai Lung began running. He was not, in any case, quickly enough and began falling with the stone scaffold. Thinking he won, Vatcher began snickering. Tai Lung gazed upward and saw one final piece of explosives going to go off, so he fired, hopping and running up different pieces. He then bounced and arrived on a piece of rock. he moved to the explosives and cut it off. Might we at any point run currently? Asked Zheng. Indeed, said Vatcher, seeming like he was going to cry. Tai Lung twirled around and tossed the explosives. It detonated, driving everyone outside into the virus snow. Venturing outside, he originally snatched Zheng and took a chilling breath. I'm happy Shifu sent you, he said, petting the bird. I was starting to think I'd been neglected. Fly back there and let them know that the genuine mythical serpent fighter is returning home. Zheng gestured out of dread before he was tossed very high and took off. Jade Castle. A gong went off, promptly in the first part of the day. The subsequent it went off. The irate five all left their rooms and said, "Great morning, expert," to Shifu, but they generally saw that Naruto hadn't emerged from his room yet. Fox got down on Shifu. He strolled to his room and pummeled the entryways open. Wake up. However, was shocked to track down no one there. Shifu laughed. He's gone, he said. The others didn't actually appear to mind yet. Tigress peered down, recalling his words from the previous evening. On the off chance that you or the others have anything to say, express it to my face as opposed to despite my good faith. She then thought he understood what we were talking about and he left. I thought he was remaining, to demonstrate who he was. They generally strolled to the preparation yard. What do we do now, with the fox gone? Asked Snake with stress. Who will be the mythical serpent hero? Shifu never lost his grin. Nothing remains at this point but to continue our preparation and trust that in time, the genuine winged serpent fighter will be uncovered. He opened the doors just to see Naruto gasping as he leaned against a tree. What are you doing here? Yelled Shifu. The others broadened their eyes seeing the fox. Naruto didn't appear to be astounded when he heard Shifu yelling, "Great morning, expert." He welcomed. I was simply preparing. In what? Asked Tigress before Shifu could say anything. Naruto grinned prior to saying, a full parted. You really figured you could figure out how to do a full parted in one evening? Addressed Shifu. It requires a very long time to foster one's adaptability. He expressed, tossing to circles high out of sight. Tigress ventured forward and hunkered, without losing her grin, and years longer to apply it in battle. He snapped his fingers and Tigress bounced following the plates. When she was level, she did a split without trouble and obliterated the circles. When she landed, she gave Naruto a difficult sneer. Bits of the plates tumbled to the ground, as Naruto took a gander at Tigress, with her watching. He got a piece of plate without turning away from her. Both their grins appeared to grow apiece with entertainment. Put that down, yelled Shifu. The main gifts we gather here are horrendous knuckles and broken bones. Assuming that anything, Naruto's grin just developed and it maddened Shifu. We should begin. He snapped his fingers and they generally entered a ring, with just Snake and Naruto in the center. Are you prepared? She inquired. We should go, Naruto expressed, getting into a position, but Snake just cleared his feet from under him, make him flip forward and hurl him back to the cold earth. Ow, said Naruto. Please accept my apologies, sibling. I thought you said you were prepared, apologized Snake. Once more, was all Naruto said. Shifu ground his teeth as he snapped his fingers once more. This time it was Monkey and he was utilizing a staff. Naruto likewise took a staff and impeded a couple of Monkey's assaults, however was, once more, knocked off his feet. Monkey was shocked, however, in light of the fact that very few have obstructed more than one assault on their most memorable attempt. Once more, said Naruto, making Shifu much angrier. He was presently facing Crane, on the huge jade green bowl. Naruto hopped at Crane and was near snatching his snout, until Crane flew back, making Naruto land in the bowl. Once more, he said. Presently he was against Mantis. Naruto figured out how to evade several Mantis assaults, yet he additionally fell, horrendously. Once more, this went on until the end of the day, and each time Naruto continued to say, once more. Shifu laughed when he saw Naruto fall, yet grimaced when he heard him say, once more. Tigress ventured forward, seeing that she never got to fight with Naruto. however Shifu halted her. "I've been resisting the urge to stress about you, Fox, yet at the same no more," he expressed, venturing forward. "Your next adversary will be me." Naruto gasped as he stood. "Bring it." The incensed five took apprehensive looks at one another. "Aside from Tigress, step forward," requested Shifu. Naruto did so, yet Shifu got him and begun twirling him around. "The genuine way to triumph is to find your adversary's shortcoming and cause him to languish over it," he said, hurling Naruto down and bowing his hand at an unnatural point. "You're wrong," Naruto said through torment. To take his solidarity and use it against him, proceeded with Shifu as though he didn't hear Naruto. He continued to toss Naruto about like he was a straightforward toy, until he at last falls or stops. Shifu currently remained on Naruto's back and was grasping the fox's hair. "I will not stop. Regardless of anything else," yelled Naruto. Shifu snarled prior to hurling Naruto out of sight and removing him from the preparation yard and down an enormous slope. "In the event that he's shrewd, then he won't return up those means," expressed Shifu before he returned inside. "However, he will," said Monkey. "He won't stop, is he?" asked Snake. "No, he won't. He let me know that regardless of what happens he will demonstrate what his identity was," expressed Tigress before she hopped after Naruto. "Would it be advisable for us we follow?" asked Snake. "Nah, it will be fine," said Mantis. Tigress at last made up for lost time to Naruto on the means. He was breathing vigorously, and was seriously swollen everywhere. She couldn't resist the opportunity to flinch from simply seeing him. All things being equal, she helped him onto his feet and gradually went up the means. "What are you doing?" asked Naruto. "Just shut up and walk," said Tigress. Ultimately they needed to prevent from how much advances. Since Tigress couldn't climb the means with Naruto over her shoulders, they stayed there watching the sun set peacefully, until Tigress inquired, "For what reason do you do this?" "Do what?" asked back Naruto. "Keep on preparing," she expressed, going to check him. "For what reason do you not simply leave out?" Naruto grinned. "I previously told you, to demonstrate that I am neither a shame or the winged serpent hero, yet I'm basically Naruto Uzumaki and that's it." "I actually don't have any idea." Naruto remained quiet until he spoke. "My life prior to arriving at this valley was not a cheerful one, for reasons unknown. The town that I lived in dreaded me and they made it a point to it. My town had a legend around a 9-followed evil spirit fox. It obliterated the town, killing hundreds, when it was crushed. It said that it will return. The day I was conceived, they generally dreaded me only for having 9 tails," he said. "Unfortunately, I never knew my parents. They passed on the day I was conceived, so I was brought up in a halfway house for a couple of years. Ultimately they threw me out, so I resided in the city. At some point, however, I had enough of the town, so I left and voyaged. Obviously I was as yet youthful there, so I took no provisions. I wound up in the Valley of Harmony one day and began my new life. At last a man and his little girl tracked down me and took me in. From that point forward I have been making ramen and presently I'm here attempting to learn Kung Fu." Tigress was shocked at what Naruto had said. Their lives were comparative, and she generally felt that no one would be equivalent to her. The explanation, "I'm not leaving," is since supposing that I surrender, then I would demonstrate those residents right, and that I can do nothing. I can't do that. So when I told you to leave," she followed off, "it caused me to recall what they generally said. In truth I was anticipating leaving until Oogway addressed me and afterward you. So in the event that anything I ought to thank you," he said cheerfully. "Indeed, even after everything, he is saying thank you," she thought. I'm sorry for all that occurred," she said, plainly not used to saying sorry. Naruto laughed and motioned for them both to return to the sanctuary. That night, Naruto wriggled and flinched as Mantis utilized needle therapy to assist with his injuries. "I thought you said needle therapy would cheer me up," said Naruto. "Trust me, it will," expressed Mantis as he wounded Naruto once more. Tigress sat against a wall with an entertained grin and Snake was sitting before Naruto, holding an image of a creature. it's simply difficult finding the right nerve focuses under this fur. Mantis cut him again, making Naruto howl. Perhaps you ought to take a gander at this once more, said Snake, holding the image up. Goodness. All right, said Mantis, acknowledging where to go straight away. I know expert Shifu is attempting to motivate me and everything, except in the event that I had a clue about somewhat worse, I'd say he was attempting to dispose of me. Mantis and Snake took a gander at one another prior to glancing back at Naruto and grinned apprehensively. Tigress laughed. It's okay, Naruto definitely understands what expert Shifu is doing. You do? Asked a shocked Snake. Better believe it. I sort of figured it when he yelled at me that I am not the mythical serpent champion. Naruto made sense of. I realize he can appear to be somewhat cold-hearted, yet he wasn't similar to that all of the time, said Mantis. As indicated by legend, some time ago expert Shifu really used to grin, said Snake. Nope, can't see it, expressed Naruto prior to getting cut once more. Yet, that was previously. Snake was cut off by Tigress. Tai Lung, she said with a glare. Through his wall, Crane said, definitely, we're not actually assumed to discuss him. All things considered, assuming he will remain here, he ought to be aware, said Tigress. Who's Tai Lung? Asked Naruto prior to howling. Do you mind halting briefly? He asked Mantis, who just leaped off him. Tai Lung was one of expert Shifu's understudies. They called him a wonder, a virtuoso. He even dominated the 1,000 looks of Kung Fu, said Tigress. However, to dominate Shifu, he was something other than an understudy. He was his child. Naruto's eyes enlarged at this. Shifu found him as a fledgling and he brought up him as his child. And when the kid showed ability for Kung Fu, Shifu prepared him. He trusted in him. He let him know he was bound to exceed all expectations sooner or later, yet it was never enough for Tai Lung, she said, glaring. He needed the winged serpent parchment, yet Oogway saw murkiness in his heart and denied. What happened then? Asked Naruto. He was insulted, he ruined to the valley, he attempted to take the look forcibly, and Shifu needed to obliterate what he had made, yet how is this even possible? Shifu cherished Tai Lung like he had never adored anybody. She went on with recollections of her difficult Kung Fu, or since, and presently he gets an opportunity to make things right, to prepare the genuine winged serpent fighter. She expressed, investigating his eyes. Tragically, you deal with things like a joke, she said with a sneer. Naruto was going to express something before his face froze in an entertaining manner. Gracious. That is all there is to it, yelled Tigress, expanding her paws. Paws, yelled Mantis, arriving on Naruto's shoulder. My issue. I coincidentally changed his facial nerve. Naruto fell forward to uncover many needles, implanted in him, and may have additionally halted his heart. Preparing room. Shifu sat in obscurity, with just a light close to him. He contemplated and recited, inward harmony, internal harmony. His ear jerked, yet he barely cared about it. Internal harmony. His ear jerked once more and he yelled, would whoever is making that fluttering sound calm down? He halted and heard nothing, so he returned to reciting, internal, yet was interfered with when a duck crashed arrived behind him. He pivoted and grinned, seeing the recognizable duck. Gracious, Zen. Superb, I could utilize some uplifting news at the present time, he said, making Zing freeze. Peach Tree Slope. Ace. Ace, yelled Shifu as he ran up the means. Oogway was remaining close to the tree, going through a Kung Fu position until he was interfered with. I have its extremely terrible news. Okay, Shifu, there is only information, there is no decent or awful, said the turtle. Ace, your vision. Your vision was correct. Tai Lung has broken out of jail. He's coming. That made Oogway stop. That is awful news if you don't really accept that the mythical serpent fighter can't stop him. Shifu's eye jerked. The fox. Ace, that fox isn't the winged serpent fighter. He wasn't even intended to be here. It was a mishap. There are no mishaps, said back Oogway. Shifu moaned, yes I know, you said that as of now, 2 times. Oogway laughed, indeed, that was no mishap, by the same token. Threefold, mumbled Shifu. My close buddy, the fox won't ever satisfy his fate, nor you yours, until you let go of the deception of control, prompted Oogway. Deception, rehashed Shifu. Indeed, see this tree, Shifu, he expressed showing to the tree close to them, I can't make it bloom, when it suits me, nor make it prove to be fruitful before now is the right time. Indeed, yet there are things we have some control over, expressed Shifu before he kicked the tree, making various peaches drop out. I have some control over when the organic product will fall. One peach then fell and hit Shifu's head, making Oogway laugh, and I can control. He snatched a fallen peach, tossed it up high, and hopped after it. He then, at that point, cut it in half with a hack and landed where to sow the seed he completed prior to poking a hole in the ground. He immediately got the peach seed and tossed it into the opening. That is no deception, expert. Indeed, said Oogway, strolling forward, yet regardless of what you do that seed will develop into a peach tree. You might want for an apple or an orange, however you will get a peach. Yet, a peach can't overcome Tai Lung, yelled Shifu. Perhaps it can. Oogway then twisted forward and covered the opening that held the seed, assuming you will direct it, to support it, to have confidence in it. Yet, how? How? Addressed Shifu, frantically, I want your assistance, expert. No, you simply have to accept, commitment me Shifu, commitment me you will accept. I will attempt, said Shifu, abruptly. Sakura petals began to assemble. Great, said Oogway, with a grin, my opportunity has arrived. Shifu's eyes enlarged. You should proceed with this excursion without me, he said, giving Shifu his staff. What are you wait? Oogway strolled to the edge of the slope, expert. You can't leave me. Oogway pivoted and bowed to Shifu, with a grin, you should accept. Ace. Oogway abruptly began to transform into Sakura petals and followed the breeze with Shifu watching in bitterness. Sanctuary rooftop. Tigress sat on the rooftop and gazed at the moon. Hearing a commotion, she turned and saw Naruto. Hello, he welcomed. She recently gestured and turned around to take a gander at the moon, with Naruto joining her following a moment. For what reason did you enlighten me regarding your past? She inquired. Grinning he shrugged, frankly, I don't have the foggiest idea. She went to check him. I don't have the foggiest idea why I told you. I just had this pestering inclination toward the rear of my head, shouting at me to tell you. He checked her. You didn't have a simple life either, did you out? Albeit reluctant, Tigress replied, having a similar sensation of letting him know her past. I likewise experienced childhood in a halfway house. It wasn't generally excellent however on the grounds that everyone was frightened by me, yet that was simply because of my attitude and huge strength. I generally caused problems. One night I left my room and attempted to play with different kids yet they took off from me in light of my teeth and paws. I was shipped off my room after that since I blew my top. At last the guardians called expert Shifu for help and he visited me. He conversed with me and figured out how to persuade me to attempt dominoes. It was a game where you must be exceptionally understanding and cautious, but since of my solidarity I either broke the pieces or pushed them over. She laughed. I was an extremely fretful kid so I generally blew my top. Fortunately with time, I figured out how to play dominoes without taking any kind of action wrong. I even showed everybody at the shelter and they all turned into my companions since they moved past their feelings of dread, yet the guardians didn't so I was rarely embraced. Expert Shifu took me in inevitably and presently we are right here. We had comparable lives, remarked Naruto. They remained quiet sooner or later before Naruto stood and extended, come on. What? Asked Tigress in disarray. Naruto got her hand and pulled her up to stand. "We should go," he began pulling her along the rooftop. "Where are you taking me?" she practically requested. Accordingly Naruto leaped off the side of the rooftop with Tigress alongside him. When they landed, Tigress glanced around and saw that they were in a fighting ring. "We should have a fight," said Naruto, hopping back and into a position. It took Tigress a second prior to she understood what he said. Grinning, she took her renowned tiger style of battle and paused. Following a couple of moments of essentially gazing at one another, the two of them ran simultaneously. They exchanged blows, Naruto taking them instead of giving them. This went on for north of an hour and neither lost their grins. At last they needed to stop, since they were both winded. "Are you okay?" she asked, realizing he endured a ton of shocks. "I'll be fine, I'm a quick healer," he said back. "What might be said about you?" he asked, seeing that he got her multiple times, despite the fact that it was out of nothing but karma. "I'll be fine," she said back. "You are improving." "Much obliged," he said. They strolled over to a seat and plunked down. "Are you feeling improved?" She gave him a confounded look. "When you educated me concerning your previous, I could see it was making you more discouraged, so I fought with you to cheer you up." "Oh, thank you," she said back, confounded. "Don't worry about it, that's what the subsequent," he said. They heard the sound of running strides. Pivoting, they saw Crane, Monkey, Snake, Mantis, and Shifu running towards them. "You are right there," yelled Shifu. "Ace," said Tigress. "What have both of you up to?" he yelled. "We were competing," expressed Naruto with a cocked eyebrow. "You lack the capacity to deal with that," he yelled. "Tai Lung has gotten away from structure jail and he is coming for the mythical beast parchment." "What?" yelled both Naruto and Tigress. "You are the one in particular who can stop him. He's free." "Also, you anticipate that I should stop him," yelled Naruto before he showed to himself what might be said about expert Oogway. "He did it previously so he can rehash it. Oogway can't." Shifu yelled prior to bringing down his head. "Not any longer," he said delicately. It was then that everyone saw Shifu holding Oogway's staff. They extended at this before they generally brought down their heads. "Our main expectation is the mythical serpent fighter. However, shouldn't something be said about us?" asked Tigress. "Let us stop Tai Lung. This is the very thing that you prepared us for." "No. This isn't your predetermination to overcome Tai Lung, yet his," he yelled, highlighting Naruto, who wasn't there any longer. "Where'd he go?" Naruto ran towards a bunch of steps, however his way was obstructed when Shifu arrived before him. "You can't leave. A genuine hero won't ever stop." "Who said I was stopping?" asked Naruto. "I plan to battle Tai Lung now to stop him," he expressed, running past Shifu. Without moving structure his spot, Shifu utilized the staff and brought Naruto back around. "In the event that you leave now, you will just bite the dust." "So what?" yelled Naruto. "In the event that it's my predetermination, I will win. You might be the mythical serpent fighter, however you can't overcome him now." "Be that as it may, I'm not the mythical serpent hero. Tigress is," he yelled, making Shifu hold up. "You and I both realize that Oogway planned to pick her. In addition, you never accepted that I was the mythical beast champion." "Indeed, I never accepted you were the winged serpent champion, yet presently I request that you confide in your lord as I have come to confide in mine." "You are not my lord," yelled Naruto, driving the staff away from him, "and I'm not the winged serpent champion. Why didn't you stop? You realized I needed to get rid of you, yet you remained." "Better believe it, I remained, however not so much for you," he said prior to looking towards the sanctuary. He quickly saw Tigress gazing at them from a good ways and could see that she could hear them. "I remain to demonstrate that I am not the mythical serpent fighter but rather essentially Naruto. In any case, I can transform you into the winged serpent fighter. Furthermore, I will," yelled Shifu frantically. Naruto frowned at Shifu. and it made the expert make a stride back. You can't. Tai Lung is on his way here the present moment. You lack the opportunity to prepare me and you know it. So how can you go to transform me into the mythical beast fighter? Shifu just gazed as he attempted to consider a response. How? Addressed Naruto. How? Shifu stayed calm and Naruto yelled. How? I don't have the foggiest idea. Shifu at last yelled. He understood what he said and moaned. I don't have the foggiest idea. I suspected as much, Naruto said delicately. He strolled and Shifu didn't stop him this time. Naruto made a stride past Shifu prior to halting, so their backs were to one another. He looked towards Tigress once more and could see she was miserable. Trained Tigress. She is the genuine winged serpent fighter and God realizes she merits it, he said making another stride. Farewell, and Naruto left the sanctuary. Naruto proceeded to walk and simply figured out how to get to the center of the town before Tigress got out of the shadows. Where are you going? She asked, definitely knowing the response. You know, as of now, I will battle Tai Lung, he said genuinely. In any case, you realize you will lose, so. I have nothing left in this completely different from Ikaraku's, he said, prior to seeing Tigress looking hurt. And us? The five? She asked. Naruto's eyes broadened at this. Don't leave this town. You actually get an opportunity in the event that you can allow Shifu an opportunity. Naruto remained quiet prior to moving forward. Seeing this, Tigress ventured into his way. If it's not too much trouble, move, Tigress. No, she said. I would rather not battle you, he said. You don't need to, she said before Naruto dropped to his knees. His vision became cloudy. Please accept my apologies, he heard Tigress say prior to falling oblivious. She immediately got him and held him. She then, at that point, took out a dart from the rear of his neck and looked, seeing the remainder of the five show up. Mantis was likewise holding a blowpipe, showing he was the one that terminated the dart. Without saying any words, Tigress motioned for the others to go on ahead. They did so and she murmured, prior to turning towards an eatery, Ikaraku's. She hauled Naruto towards it prior to thumping on the entryway. Following a moment, I am responded to it. Hi, she said languidly. Her eyes at last engaged and she panted, seeing Naruto oblivious. Naruto. It's okay, he's simply oblivious. Could you at any point, if it's not too much trouble, show me to his room so I can lay him down? No doubt certain, expert Tigress, said I am apprehensively. Much thanks to you, expressed Tigress prior to following the feline inside. She went inside Naruto's room and grimaced, seeing it so exposed. She laid him on his bed and saw him. Please accept my apologies, it needed to work out like this, however it must be finished. Thank you for everything, she expressed grinning prior to leaving the room. When she left the room she went to I am. Might you at any point kindly let him know that I am grieved and that I want to believe that he settle on's the best choice? Sure, expressed I am happily. You as him, don't you? Excuse me. It doesn't matter, I'll let Naruto know that you apologized. Much thanks to you. Farewell, expressed Tigress prior to leaving. Nonetheless, her psyche was thoroughly considering what I am had inquired. The following morning, Naruto awakened and in a flash acknowledged where he was, his room at Ikaraku's. It took him a memorable second. Last evening's occasions. Glaring, he stood up and searched in the mirror. Please accept my apologies, he heard Tigress' voice in his mind. He murmured prior to opening the entryway and going down steps. When he went into the room, he saw I am approach him. How could I arrive? He inquired. Ace, Tigress hauled you here. She believed me should let you know that she is grieved and that she trusts you pursue the ideal choice, she replied. I see, he said delicately. They kept quiet briefly. She appeared to be truly concerned and miserable for you, said I am. Might I at any point ask what occurred? Moaning, Naruto said, how about we simply say inconvenience is coming, and in the event that I needed to suppose, Tigress and the other 5 went to confront that danger, I was anticipating going, yet that transformed into me contending with expert Shifu and harming Tigress, he said, recollecting seeing the hurt in her eyes. He turned and peered through the window and gazed at the sanctuary. I surmised she was correct. About? Asked Tucci as he went into the room, hearing the discussion. Obviously just the winged serpent fighter can overcome the danger, he said, making an effort not to frighten them. In view of Tai Lung, I attempted to go now, in light of my recklessness, however I'm not completely prepared. It was just now that Shifu needed to prepare me appropriately. You should go now, said Tucci. Most likely, I'll return soon and I'll actually attempt to bring the 5 also, expressed Naruto prior to leaving. He murmured prior to going to the sanctuary. Peach Tree Slope. Shifu moaned as he sat on the slope. He felt miserable on the grounds that he felt like he bombed Oogway. He then heard a commotion, which crested his interest, so he went inside the sanctuary to figure out what it was. Following a couple of moments he made the ways for the preparation room, accepting this spot contained the noisemaker. Yet he thought that it is peculiarly unfilled. He glanced around and could see the preparation faker. He heard the clamor once more and turned towards the bedchambers. After an additional couple of moments he entered the structure and followed the clamor until he ended up close to the kitchen. It seemed like somebody was battling inside, so he looked, just to see Naruto crush through a pantry and take out a case of rolls. He murmured prior to returning it and looking towards the entryway. He froze seeing the red panda. What? What are you doing in here? Asked Shifu as he checked the obliteration out. Making ramen. I do this when I'm exhausted, he answered, however I can't find the damn fish cakes. Gracious, quit worrying about them. At that point, said Shifu, pivoting and leaving. He ventured past the entryway prior to checking Naruto. I simply thought you another person. The fish cakes are on the best in class, he said, leaving. What Naruto didn't have the foggiest idea, however, was that Shifu concealed himself against the wall out. Broadening his eyes, Naruto ran for the rack. All Shifu could hear was some crushing and Naruto bouncing. He immediately ran into the room and extended his eyes in shock. Naruto was doing parts on a rack and snarling as he went through the rack. He turned and gazed at Shifu. You misled me, he blamed. See you, expressed Shifu as he ventured forward. Better believe it, I know, I pester you, expressed Naruto, going to move down. No. When it's all said and done, how could you get up there? He inquired. I don't have any idea, I bounced. However, you are 10 feet off the ground, said Shifu, and have done an ideal parted. I let you know that I rehearsed, said Naruto, yet I didn't prepare on the most proficient method to get to the cold earth when you up high and doing parts, other than, he said prior to falling and banging into the ground. It was likely only a mishap, he moaned out. A treat moved across the ground and arrived before Shifu. He laughed prior to getting it and guiding it toward Naruto. There are no mishaps, he cited structure. Oogway, accompany me, he said. After an hour, both Naruto and Shifu strolled up a way that drove up a mountain, nor were drained. However, Naruto's feet were sore as well as his back as he conveyed an enormous and weighty rucksack. Could you at any point, if it's not too much trouble, let me know where we're going? Asked Naruto. Shifu didn't reply, yet they in the long run came to a hazy region. Shifu plunked down and contemplated close to a lake, and Naruto plunked down, placing his feet in said lake. What is this spot? Asked Naruto as he glanced around. Fox, we don't clean out feet in that frame of mind of holy tears, expressed Shifu with his eyes shut. Pool of holy tears, rehashed Naruto, taking his feet out the water. Indeed, said Shifu, strolling forward, this is where Oogway unwound the secrets of congruity and concentration. This is the origin of Kung Fu, he said, making Naruto's eyes extend. Shifu hopped out of sight and arrived on a huge piece of rock, taking a position that arranged regard. Would you like to learn Kung Fu? Indeed, expressed Naruto in wonder. Then I'm you ace, he yelled. Indeed, expert, yelled Naruto as he bowed. Shifu sneered as he said, "Don't bow, it doesn't exactly measure up for you." Naruto laughed prior to bowing once more. "Yes, expert," he said with the two of them snickering. Sooner or later they entered a field and Naruto remained inverse Shifu, with his clenched hands next to him's, the point at which you center around Kung Fu. When you concentrate, you suck. Naruto's grin tumbled off of his face. Yet maybe that is my shortcoming. I might not prepare you at any point like I have prepared the five. I currently see that the method for breaking through to you is with this, he said, showing a bowl of ramen. This is made directly from Ikaraku's. Naruto was slobbering at seeing those brilliant noodles. Ichiraka noodles, he murmured, his stomach snarled. I'm ravenous. Great, said Shifu laughing, when you have been prepared, you might eat, he said while eating a portion of the ramen. Let us start, he said with Naruto frowning at him. They got going, preparation with Naruto doing sit-ups on a high branch with Shifu on his legs holding the bowl of ramen. The branch squeaked prior to slowing down off. Part way, Shifu immediately hopped in reverse and landed a few stones. Naruto immediately snatched the branch and got the bowl, utilizing it to get the falling ramen. The branch severed, and Naruto with it. Shifu immediately got the bowl and ramen, prior to drinking a portion of its stock. Close to a bamboo backwoods, Shifu provided Naruto with a bowl of ramen with chopsticks and took off. Naruto licked his lips prior to discarding the chopsticks and attempting to drink from the bowl. Shifu anyway showed up with his bamboo staff and whacked Naruto consistently. Naruto figured out how to impede a couple of assaults, yet Shifu then crushed the bowl, no longer any of his concern, making the fox grimace. They were then in a field with Shifu on a stone, holding a fish cake. Naruto moved around the stone attempting to get the fish cake, however Shifu continued to move out of the way. This went on for more than an hour and neither surrendered. During the evening, Naruto attempted to eat the ramen that Shifu put before him. While doing push-ups over a sweltering coals, Shifu really wanted to laugh in entertainment when he watched this. At the crack of dawn, the two of them remained on top of a mountain. Shifu remained on one leg and moved around on the spot through smooth movements. Naruto was doing likewise while adjusting 13 dishes of ramen, one on every appendage, one on his head, and one on every one of his tails. All in the woods. Naruto moved beyond a stone while conveying a vacant bowl. Directly before him was a dark pot, loaded up with ramen, and he was to fill the bowl. Similarly, as he was going to fill the bowl, Shifu showed up behind him, holding his staff. Similarly, as Naruto approached the pot, Shifu whacked his butt. And Naruto needed to impede Shifu's assaults. Naruto figured out how to fill his bowl, yet Shifu jabbed him in the stomach and the bowl flew out of sight. He bounced, got the bowl with the ramen in it, and arrived on his staff. Shifu drank from the bowl similarly as Naruto kicked the lower part of the staff. Without looking, Shifu hopped and the staff banged onto Naruto's head before Shifu arrived back on the staff. On top of a stone Naruto remained. With Shifu on the contrary, stone and fireflies were gleaming around them. Both went through a kung fu position with Naruto impersonating Shifu impeccably. Both then did gave finger push-ups and exchanged arms when they went up. Shifu went after Naruto in the bamboo woods and Naruto avoided, obstructed, and diverted all assaults. To make things fascinating, Naruto got around Shifu effortlessly while the two of them thought. During the nightfall, Naruto remained on the mountain and went through an exceptionally mind-boggling kung fu position, making it seem to be the least demanding thing on the planet, and he did it cheerfully. They now both reclined across from one another, against a stone table, with a bowl of ramen on top. Shifu got his chopsticks and motioned towards the ramen. After you, fox. Very much like that? Asked Naruto dubiously. No sit-ups. No 10-mile climbs. I promised to prepare you, and you have been prepared. You are allowed to eat, he expressed, showing to the ramen once more. Naruto focused on his jaw, doubt yet shrugged. He got a couple of chopsticks and split them up. Appreciate, expressed Shifu cheerfully. Naruto went after the ramen, took a few noodles, and attempted to eat it, had a go at being the watchword in light of the fact that Shifu, utilizing his mind-boggling speed, ate the noodles. "Hello," yelled Naruto. "I said you are allowed to eat, have a few noodles," expressed Shifu happily. Naruto's eyes restricted prior to attempting once more. He got a fish cake, just for Shifu to remove it from his hand and eat it, both their eyes limited at one another. "You are allowed to eat," rehashed Shifu. "Am I?" yelled Naruto. "Are you?" yelled back Shifu prior to flipping his chopsticks masterfully. Naruto just uttered a strange sound prior to cutting his chopsticks against one another. Perceiving how he was unable to do what Shifu did, he grinned as he hurled his give-over onto the bowl, spilling its substances out of sight. Shifu bounced up high and gulped up the noodles and stock alongside all the other things, aside from a solitary fish cake. Seeing this, Naruto hopped for itself and made it seem to be that he got it with his chopsticks, yet he just intended to eat it. Shifu saw this and snatched the fish cake before Naruto could eat it, and afterward arrived close to the dishes. Naruto just arrived on his head, close to the stone table. Naruto hopped onto his feet and immediately utilized his chopsticks to make Shifu drop the fish cake into a bowl. The two of them utilized their chopsticks to go after one another as they attempted to get the cake. Shifu flipped the bowl and afterward flipped the others. He then began moving the dishes about with inconceivable speed, and Naruto figured out how to follow with his eyes. Naruto immediately halted Shifu and flipped the bowl, which contained the fish cake, while giving a sneer of triumph. They battled with chopsticks once more and Naruto figured out how to get the little cake. Shifu anyway continued to whip Naruto's fingers with his own. Having enough of the bowl, Naruto cleared the table and kicked the fish cake up high. Seeing this, Shifu tossed his chopstick and cut the fish cake into a tree limb. The two of them ran for itself and Shifu bounced onto Naruto's shoulder and afterward hopped for the cake. Naruto utilized his chopsticks and got Shifu's leg, taking him back to the ground. The two of them looked and saw the fish cake starting to get away from the solitary chopstick. Shifu kicked Naruto's chopsticks away and immediately got his arm, flipping him onto the ground. Naruto, notwithstanding, arrived on his feet and the two of them battled one another. Shifu then, at that point, drove Naruto away and hoped to see the fish cake falling. Naruto flipped onto his feet and got Shifu unsuspecting. He drove the red fox away. He ran forward and attempted to eat the fish cake. Tragically, Shifu shut Naruto's mouth and the fish cake moved off his head and onto Shifu's arm. Naruto hit his arm and the cake flew up, yet Shifu hopped and kicked it away. Naruto pursued it and Shifu remained briefly, grinning. He discarded his chopsticks and pursued the fox, snatching his staff. He bounced very high and thumped the fish cake away from Naruto's mouth, and attempted to stir things up around town. Naruto hindered the assault and fought back. Both continued to stir things up around town away from the other as they battled masterfully. Naruto twirled around, kicked the fish cake back out of sight, and obstructed Shifu's assault. They twirled around and Naruto remained on Shifu's staff. Abruptly, he bounced up high and flipped in reverse, much to Shifu's amazement. He thought back to Shifu, and the old expert bowed, permitting Naruto to eat the fish cake. Sneering, Naruto tossed the fish cake into Shifu's hand, amazing him. Seeing the scrutinizing look, Naruto said, "I'm not eager." Shifu grinned prior to discarding the fish cake. Expert, expressed Naruto as he bowed in regard. With the angry five, the five came to an extension and halted. On the opposite side stood Tai Lung, and he snarled. Seeing the five, he thundered and afterward ran down on the ground, over the scaffold. Seeing this, Tigress yelled, "Cut it!" And the others sliced the rope to the extension. It started to fall and Tai Lung bounced. Seeing that he planned to make it, Tigress hopped and reverse somersault kicked him away from the edge. Rapidly, the other five snatched the ropes to consistent the extension as both Tigress and Tai Lung arrived on it. He moved and the extension turned sideways as he spoke. Where could the winged serpent champion be? How do you have any idea that you're not taking a gander at her? She asked without removing her eyes from them. Giggling, he answered, you believe I'm a blockhead. He dropped his grin. I realize you are not the mythical beast fighter, not a single one of you. I heard how he dropped out of the sky in a chunk of fire, that he's a champion not at all like anything the world has at any point seen. As he talked he made strides nearer to Tigress, making her snarl. Monkey looked befuddled. Naruto, he inquired. So that is his name, Naruto, rehashed Tai Lung. At long last, a commendable rival, our fight will be incredible, he yelled before Tigress went after. You will not touch him, she yelled out of frustration. They battled and each assault was impeded or evaded. Some hit has through, however Tigress wasn't landing many. She then bounced, got his head with her feet, and swung him off the scaffold. He then got the rope and twirled the extension around, making the other 5 hang on significantly more. Tigress needed to clutch the boards to be protected. Tai Lung hopped high out of sight and pointed a punch at Tigress. She saw this and flipped the scaffold once more, making him punch-tossed a board. This didn't stop him or even dial him back as they proceeded with their battle, with him on top of the extension, and her on the under. He snatched her foot and swung her, tossed a few boards and let her go. She immediately utilized her hooks and locked into his hand, making him thunder in torment. They proceeded with their battle and Monkey snatched Crane and Snake's rope. We got this. Go assistance her, he yelled. It was then that Tai Lung kicked Tigress between the boards and he then kicked her, so hard that she went flying through large numbers of the boards, similarly as she was going to fall. Tai Lung turned the extension once more and made the ropes fold over her neck, removing her from breathing. Snake crawled before Tai Lung and whipped his face. This made him let go of the ropes and for Tigress to fall. Crane immediately got her and ensured she was okay. Snake figured out how to fold herself over Tai Lung's neck and hand, and utilized this to make him punch himself. He was going to fall and Snake attempted to move away, yet he immediately got her neck. Monkey, she choked out. Go, yelled Mantis, taking the last rope. Notwithstanding, on account of his size, he battled and said, what was I thinking? Monkey ran as quick as possible and flip-kicked Tai Lung away from Snake, and to the opposite side of the scaffold. He immediately got back up and stumbled into the ropes and was obviously irate. Seeing an arrangement, Tigress yelled, Mantis. He received the message and whipped the ropes, making a huge wave show up. Monkey and Snake bounced away. However, Tai Lung wasn't so exceptionally fortunate as he got smacked in the face. Presently, yelled Tigress and they all ran. Aside from Mantis, Monkey hopped forward and kicked Tai Lung in the face. Snake then leaped off of Monkey's shoulder and whipped Tai Lung very high. Crane utilized his mouth to cut the rope and utilized it to tie up Tai Lung. To end it, Tigress utilized her entire existence and open-palmed Tai Lung, constraining him to the opposite side as he thundered in rage. Mantis immediately brought back the 5 and let the extension go. They generally moaned in help and loose. In any case, a sound grabbed Tigress' eye. Looking, she panted, no. When she saw the extension rope begin to twirl around the mountain, they generally watched eagerly as the rope flew up, yet nothing was there. They generally murmured in help once more, yet Tigress broadened her eyes. Before she could do anything, Tai Lung arrived behind all them. Shifu, showed you well, Tai Lung remarked tranquilly. By simply taking a gander at him you could perceive he wasn't even gasping for air. He then unexpectedly surged forward and hit Monkey in the chest, causing a blue heartbeat to show up and deadened him. Yet he didn't show you everything, he said prior to hurrying by any stretch of the imagination of them. Jade Castle, you have gotten along nicely, Fox, remarked Shifu as he and Naruto entered the sanctuary grounds. Much thanks to you, expert, he said back. He grinned as he utilized his tails to push Shifu and make him stagger. The characteristic of a genuine champion is lowliness. However, you have most certainly gotten along nicely, he said, punching Naruto in the side. The two of them snickered until they heard the sound of wings fluttering. They scowled and turned, extending their eyes when they saw Crane flying pitifully and holding the remainder of the five. He crash-landed, dropping the others onto the ground. "No," yelled Naruto, going to check. Assuming they are good, would they say they are dead? "No, they're relaxing," he said, appreciative. "We were no counterpart for his nerve assault," heaved out Crane. "He's gotten more grounded," expressed Shifu as he hit a couple of focuses on Mantis, permitting him to move once more. "More grounded," rehashed Naruto as Shifu hit a couple of focuses on Monkey. Sadly, Monkey made an unexpected punch and hit Naruto in the jawline. "Sorry Naruto," he was sorry. In any case, Naruto didn't hear him and he gazed at Tigress. He strolled past Shifu as he moved Snake about. He bowed down and said nothing. Shifu strolled over and hit her a couple of times. She panted for breath and pitifully said, "I figured we could stop him." "He might have killed you," expressed Naruto as he helped her onto her feet. "For what reason didn't he?" asked Mantis. "So you could return and strike dread into our souls, yet it won't work," said Shifu. "No, it will not," expressed Naruto as Tigress rested up against him. "You can overcome him, Fox," yelled Shifu. "In any case, how might I, on the off chance that they would, he be able to inquired. "You will have the one thing that no other person does," said Shifu. "What?" asked Naruto. They generally strolled quietly towards the lobby of legends and halted before the moon pool, the mythical serpent parchment. He asked as they generally looked at the lookover that was on the roof, "You truly believe I'm prepared?" "You are, Naruto," expressed Shifu happily. He then strolled over to Oogway's staff, got it, and strolled to the edge of the moon pool. He remained quiet briefly, out of regard. Unexpectedly he whirled the staff and made the sakura petals, which were on the pool, float. He began spinning the staff and making the petals float ever more elevated. Then, a solitary petal contacted the container that contained the parchment and figured out how to make it fall. When it drew sufficiently near, Shifu pushed Oogway's staff forward and got the parchment. It just barely contacted the pool, making a solitary wave. He pivoted and introduced it to Naruto. "Observe, the winged serpent parchment. It is yours." "What happens when I read it?" asked Naruto as he took the parchment. "Legends say you will actually want to hear a butterfly's wing beat, truly. Indeed, and see light in the most profound of caverns. You will feel the universe moving around you." "Hold up," expressed Naruto with wide eyes. "Peruse it, Naruto, and satisfy your predetermination. Read it and become the mythical serpent champion." Gesturing, Naruto took a gander at the case and took in its subtleties. It was a red cylinder with a gold mythical beast plan on it, and it had green closures too. He took a full breath and opened it. He halted briefly prior to taking the look out. It had a comparable plan to the container. Everyone paused their breathing as Naruto opened it and they could see his eyes broaden. "I don't trust it," he murmured. "What?" asked Shifu. "It's blank," he answered, showing the parchment. "No," yelled Shifu, dismissing. "I'm illegal to look upon." He halted and afterward grabbed the parchment away from Naruto. He took a gander at it from each point, yet it didn't transform. It just showed a gold sheet that held a foggy reflection, clear. I don't have the foggiest idea," he murmured to himself. "Oogway was savvier than us everything except this doesn't appear to be legit." "He picked me unintentionally," Naruto said without holding back. "You said that Main the mythical beast champion can peruse and utilize the parchment, however I can't," he moaned. "However, who will stop Tai Lung?" asked Snake. "He will annihilate everything, and everybody," said Crane. "No," expressed Shifu as he gave the look back to Naruto. "Clear the valley. You should shield the residents from Tai Lung's fury," he requested. "Shouldn't something be said about you, expert?" asked Tigress with worry in her eyes. "I will battle him." "What?" asked Naruto with wide eyes. "I will hold him off lengthy enough for everybody to get away." "Be that as it may, Shifu, he'll kill you," said Naruto. Grinning, Shifu said, then I will have at long last paid for my error. Nobody said anything. Pay attention to me, every one of you. It is the ideal opportunity for you all to proceed with your excursion without me. I'm exceptionally glad to be your lord, he expressed, bowing to his understudies. Everyone, including Naruto, bowed in a moment. Shifu pivoted and strolled to the moon pool as Tigress took Naruto's arm, and hauled him away. At the point when they made quick work of the sanctuary, they saw that the whole valley was almost in alarm. The vast majority of the locals were at that point leaving, and some were recently unnerved. We got to get them out securely, expressed Tigress as she leaned against Naruto for help. Her, and the remainder of the 5, were as yet harmed from their fight. Come Minimal One, expressed Monkey as he got a child piglet, we should track down your mom. With that he ran off. Tigress turned towards her companions. Snake, accumulate the southern locals. Mantis, the north, she requested with them gesturing. They left and she went to the bird. Crane, light the way, she said, giving him the lamp. Naruto looked as the 5 remaining, in a steady progression. He felt horrible, similar to he bombed everyone just by not being the winged serpent champion. He moaned, and looked as Tigress assisted I am with her family's effects. Plunking down, he took out the mythical beast parchment and gazed at the vacant page. How are you feeling? Asked Tucci as he moved toward Naruto. Horrendous, answered Naruto without turning away. Tucci murmured prior to sitting close to Naruto, please accept my apologies in the event that circumstances didn't pan out. Maybe it simply wasn't intended to be. That is what every other person is talking about, he said, showing the passing townspeople that are pointing and giggling. Neither saw that Tigress returned over and remained close to them. It was then that Tucci had a thought. You know, I recollect when we took you in, you were similarly however discouraged as you may be currently, yet when I provided you with that little bowl of ramen, maybe you acquired new life. Naruto grinned at that. I actually recall when you continually asked what was in the ramen that fixed things such that unique. I plan to let you know today since it was your birthday. Tigress's eyes enlarged at that, yet I don't have any idea. Naruto laughed. Should. Great, said Tucci, the mysterious fixing to make my ramen for what it's worth, is, he stopped for emotional impact. Nothing. Both Naruto and Tigress looked confounded. What? Nothing? Naruto rehashed. That's right, he cried with a chuckle. Nothing by any means. There is no mysterious fixing. Pause, so it's simply ordinary ramen. Tucci smacked Naruto on the rear of his head. Ow. Numbskull. My ramen isn't simply standard ramen, he said. My ramen is unique since I trust it's exceptional. That's it in a nutshell. He made sense of remaining. Coincidentally, I think you woman companion is here, he said, leaving. Naruto stood and checked Tigress. I assume I get it, he said out. What? I actually don't have any idea, she said, plainly confounded. He grinned as he took a gander at the parchment once more. There isn't anything that can make it unique, since it is now there, he said, seeing his appearance. He then, at that point, turned and began running, until Tigress halted him. Where are you going? She inquired. To stop Tai Lung, he said, making her eyes broaden. What? I'm the mythical beast champion all things considered, so I should, he said with a laugh. She grinned as she peered down. Bless your heart. He grinned back prior to maneuvering her into a hug. I ought to thank you, if not for you, the 5, or expert Shifu, then, at that point, I could never be who I'm presently, and, he halted himself. Also, she said, believing him should proceed. Also, I'm appreciative that I met you, he said, making her eyes augment. Before she could do anything, she froze when she felt him kiss her cheek. Ensure the townspeople move away securely, he expressed, running up the means. There was nothing left but to gesture idiotically. She shook her head and grinned, feeling a blush on her cheeks, and was grateful that her fur concealed it. Be cautious, Naruto, she murmured. Access to the corridor of legends. Shifu remained at the top to the means simply pausing. He realized he wouldn't need to stand by lengthy in light of the fact that he could as of now feel Tai Lung's presence nearby. A tempest had assembled and there was thunder. The thunder thundered and Shifu shut his eyes prior to opening them and seeing Tai Lung before him. I have returned home. Expert, he said bowing. Shifu glared. This is as of now not your home, and I'm as of now not your lord, he said. Goodness yes, said the Snow Panther, you have another number one, so where is this Naruto? He asked looking behind Shifu. He laughed when he saw nobody. Did I frighten him away? This fight is between you and me, said Shifu. Tai Lung moaned and turned around. So that is the means by which it will be. That is the way it should be, expressed Shifu as he took a position. Tai Lung snarled prior to hopping high out of sight and hammer kicked into the ground, where Shifu was. Just Shifu bounced back and into the sanctuary before Tai Lung banged into the ground making a little hole. He then, at that point, kicked up a Goliath rock and kicked it towards Shifu. The red panda twirled around prior to punching the stone into minuscule pieces, but Tai Lung went through and smacked Shifu upside the head, making him fly and crush through the entryways. Fortunately he landed securely. I decayed in that prison for quite a long time as a result of your shortcoming, yelled Tai Lung as he strolled in. Submitting to you ace isn't shortcoming, yelled Shifu. You realized I was the winged serpent champion. You generally knew, however when Oogway said something else, how did you respond? How did you respond? Nothing, yelled Tai Lung with all the disdain he had. You were not intended to be the mythical serpent hero. That was not my issue, yelled back Shifu. Not your shortcoming, rehashed Tai Lung as he moved toward Shifu, who filled my head with dream. He kicked a stand and Shifu got around it, who drove me to prepare until my bones broke. He then got a safeguard and tossed it. Shifu evaded and it stopped itself inside a point of support, who denied me my fate. He then, at that point, got a stand brimming with sharp weapons and tossed them at Shifu. Fortunately the old expert redirected each of the weapons easily. Tai Lung then, at that point, got a huge knife-like edge and kicked it towards Shifu. With incredible expertise, Shifu made it turn on his hand and hammer it into the ground. It was never my choice to make. Tai Lung snarled prior to hopping at Oogway's staff. He got it and said, it is presently. Shifu glared and ran at his treacherous understudy. He attempted to hop kick him, yet Tai Lung hindered it and kicked him back. The two of them leaped to the side yet Tai Lung utilized Oogway's staff to get Shifu by the neck and hammered him to the ground. He started to come down on the staff, stifling Shifu. Give me the parchment. I would prefer to bite the dust, yelled back Shifu. Tai Lung snarled and put considerably more squeeze on the staff. Both battled. Lastly the staff gave way. It broke 15 tumbled aside. Shifu turned and gazed tragically at it. A clamor grabbed his eye, so he turned. He had no opportunity to obstruct as Tai Lung kicked him into the wall. Making bug breaks, both bounced into the points of support, with Tai Lung pursuing Shifu. Unexpectedly the panther got Shifu and tossed him to the rooftop. He then hopped and punched him through the rooftop, and high out of sight. Shifu could not do anything as Tai Lung punched, mauled, and kicked him severely. Seeing an opening, he got Tai Lung's arm and bowed it in reverse. He arrived on Tai Lung's back and they began falling towards the sanctuary. Squinting his eyes, Tai Lung elbowed Shifu and exchanged positions. They crushed through the rooftop and similarly as they were going to ram into the ground, Tai Lung let go of Shifu, and kicked him into a point of support. Tai Lung was tossed back by the power and arrived on a light. It lighted the floor, making blue blazes. He went through it down on the ground, making the fire stay on his paws. All I could possibly do, I did to do right by you, he yelled providing Shifu with a flood of punches. Let me know how glad you are Shifu. The punches turned out to be more fierce. Tell me. Tell me. He yelled punching Shifu so hard, he flew towards the moon pool. At the point when Shifu landed, portions of him were all the while smoking. Tai Lung halted the flares as Shifu spoke. I have forever been pleased with you, said Shifu feebly, from the principal second. I've been proud of you. This halted Tai Lung briefly, and it was my pride that dazed me. I cherished you an excessive amount to see what you were becoming. He looked at Tai Lung without flinching, was transforming you into. I'm sorry. Tai Lung's eyes enlarged at this. Shifu was confident about a second prior to Tai Lung's eyes restricted, and he snatched him by the neck. I don't need your conciliatory sentiment, he snarled out. He then, at that point, lifted Shifu very high. I need my look. As Shifu battled, Tai Lung looked to where the parchment was. What? He panted out. When he didn't see the parchment, furious, he hammered Shifu onto the ground. Where could it be? Winged Serpent Champion has taken the parchment most of the way across China now, Shifu battled to say. You won't ever see that parchment, Tai Lung, he said, making Tai Lung expand his paws. Never. Tai Lung raised his paw and was going to strike until somebody yelled, hello. Looking, he saw a fox with 9 tails gasping at the messed up entryways. Too many steps, he panted out. Who are you? Requested Tai Lung. Mate, I'm the mythical beast fighter, expressed Naruto as he controlled his relaxing. However you might refer to me Naruto as, he said, taking a position. You? Doubted Tai Lung. Him? He asked logically as he dropped Shifu. He's a fox. He then, at that point, checked Naruto. You're a fox with 9 tails. What are you going to do, enormous person out? Beat me with your fuzzy tails? He asked with a laugh. Try not to entice me, said back Naruto. Giggling, he hauled the look out and said, no, I will utilize this. You need it? Come get it, he provoked. Tai Lung showed up and smacked Naruto directly upside the head, making him fly back and dropping the parchment. At last, he yelled. Naruto flew back before his tails patted him, arriving against a support point. Utilizing this for his potential benefit, Naruto hopped forward and utilized the energy to accelerate. He then flew forward and punched Tai Lung away from the parchment and crushed through a point of support. Naruto couldn't resist the opportunity to flinch. That needed to hurt, he said. His eyes extended when he saw Tai Lung running towards him. Naruto yelled prior to taking off, yet similarly as he got to the entryway, Tai Lung banged into his back. The power of it made the two of them fly over the means that hinted at the sanctuary. Naruto immediately got the dropped scroll and hoped to see Tai Lung snatching him. Nothing remained at that point but to give a saucy smile. This rankled Tai Lung as he kneed Naruto in the stomach, making Naruto shoot away. Naruto rammed onto a rooftop, skipped off, and afterward arrived on a tree while bowing it to the ground. Tai Lung bounced later, yet Naruto grinned as he let go of the tree and permitted it to smack Tai Lung ceaselessly. This didn't stop him anyway, as Fast hurried to Naruto and kicked him over the means. That parchment is mine. He yelled and hopped after Naruto. He got the parchment, yet Naruto wouldn't give up. As this was occurring, they continued to bound on the means with Tai Lung on the base like clockwork. They then both banged through a structure rooftop, making Naruto let go of the parchment. He arrived close to a pot of noodles and Tai Lung arrived on a rooftop. He looked and saw the look close to Tai Lung, and afterward he saw the noodles close to him, giving him a thought. As Tai Lung approached the parchment, Naruto involved the noodles as a whip to pull the parchment away from the panther. Sadly, he could not do anything as the parchment skipped off of his face and took off. Tai Lung bounced after it, however Naruto immediately got his legs, constrained him to the ground and landed on a truck. Naruto remained on its handles, so when Tai Lung landed, it constrained Naruto high up. The fox couldn't resist the opportunity to smile at this. It was loads of enjoyable to him. He then, at that point, saw that he had noodles on him, so he guzzled them generally up. The parchment arrived inside a lamp and Naruto in a little bamboo garden. Some stirring was heard and Naruto emerged on some bamboo braces. He attempted to keep his equilibrium yet he couldn't and he pushed over some searing skillet, the parchment tumbled from the light and rolled away, to where Tai Lung landed. He was going to take the look until a container rammed into his face, making an indent, sneering. Naruto hit every one of the dish and they generally landed topsy-turvy with the look under one of them. Tai Lung looked as Naruto bounced on the wall and drew nearer. The look over, the parchment has given him power. And oh, he yelled as he bounced, and kicked the wall with everything that is in him. This made the whole structure start fall. The power of the kick additionally figured out how to make the dragon head crush up and make the parchment fly away. Naruto immediately climbed and began to run, yet the tiles were falling so he was really running on the spot. Fortunately it was at that point that Tai Lung approached him on the grounds that the tiles began taking shots at the panther's face. In an entertaining way, Naruto figured out how to scale once more, so he bounced, snatched another tile, leaped off of that, and got the parchment. He turned, in any case, and saw Tai Lung hop high up and twirled around. He immediately approached and punted Naruto in the head, making him collide with the ground. Due to his displeasure, Tai Lung shot towards Naruto's structure and caused a shock wave when he hit the fox. When the residue cloud left, Tai Lung remained over Naruto's tormented body. At long last, he said as he got the look over, the force of the mythical serpent parchment is mine. He yelled as he opened the parchment. Out of nowhere his energized look went to one of disarray as he could see a gold page. What? It's nothing. This made Tai Lung considerably angrier as he dropped the parchment and strolled over to Naruto, who was attempting to stand. When there he got the fox by the throat and snarled, "Where is the genuine mythical beast scroll?" "That is it," expressed Naruto as he gripped Tai Lung's hand, attempting to pry it off. Snarling out of frustration, Tai Lung lifted his hand and broadened his hooks. Similarly, as he was going to kill Naruto, somebody yelled, "No!" from behind and kicked him away, dropping Naruto to the ground. Turning, Tai Lung laughed when he saw it was Tigress. "Tigress?" asked Naruto feebly. Anyway, she didn't hear him as she scowled at the laughing Tai Lung. "So good to see you again, Tigress." "Quiet down," she snarled. "I won't let you hurt Naruto any longer," she yelled. Tai Lung then, at that point, burst out snickering. "I suspected as much," he yelled prior to standing and gave Tigress a look. "You love him, don't you?" he asked, making Naruto's eyes broaden. She didn't reply. "Quiet is all the response I want. Doesn't make any difference. I'll simply kill the both of you and find out where you concealed the genuine parchment," he said. Out of nowhere he ran and smacked Tigress upside the head, making her fly into a wall. "Tigress!" yelled Naruto as he attempted to stand, however fell over because of his wounds. Tigress left, holding her side. Without saying anything she ran straight for Tai Lung. She attempted to utilize a palm strike, however Tai Lung just moved her arm far removed and turned, kicked her away. She got back up and ran at him once more. This time he continued to evade each time she attempted to strike. Her resentment was ascending as she frowned at Tai Lung, with him holding an entertained sneer. At last he smacked her right in the gut, making her wheeze for breath. He then, at that point, flipped and kicked her in the jaw, shooting her up high. Naruto watched in dread as Tai Lung bounced dependent upon her. He snatched her neck and twirled around. He let go and made her bang into the ground. He then, at that point, arrived on top of her, laughing. "Lamentable," said Tai Lung as he remained off her. He then, at that point, kicked her hard enough for her to be tossed close to Naruto. "Tigress," he murmured in dread. She took a gander at him pitifully. She had blood at the side of her mouth and some on her fur. I am sorry, Naruto," she said feebly, beginning a hacking fit. "It's all right, Tigress, simply rest now," he said as he held her hand. She gestured prior to shutting her eyes and going still. Tears emerged from his eyes as he gazed at her structure. Tai Lung started to stroll over, chuckling like a lunatic. She genuinely was wretched, imagining that she could overcome me. "I'm happy she's gone," he said. Quiet down, murmured Naruto. Tai Lung didn't hear him. After I'm through with you I'll simply dispose of the remainder of that incensed five. Quiet down, yelled Naruto with an odd voice. As a weird red energy burst out of him, Tai Lung lurched back in shock as this occurred. He looked as the energy whirled around Naruto prior to streaming into Tigress. She shined red briefly and every last bit of her injuries mended. The energy left her body and her body started to breathe once more. However, she didn't awaken. Naruto remained. After delicately putting her give over, and Tai Lung's eyes enlarged, Naruto's eyes were presently not blue, yet were currently dark red with cuts. As Tai Lung looked, all he could see was disdain, scorn for him. Naruto evaporated prior to showing up before Tai Lung with his clenched hand covered in his stomach. Tai Lung wheezed as his breath was detracted from him. Naruto then moved and elbowed him toward the back, hammering him to the ground. Naruto snarled as he snatched Tai Lung by his tail and flung him away. He then returned before the panther and began to utilize a blast of punches. As this was going on, Tai Lung couldn't do anything as he suspected, he's a beast. Naruto then got him by the neck and lifted him up. You hurt her, he snarled out. Presently, I break you. He lifted his hand, expanded his hooks, and was going to strike until somebody embraced him from behind. Naruto, murmured Tigress, if it's not too much trouble. Stop, she asked. He froze when he heard her voice. He's done. He can't hurt anybody any longer. However, he hurt you, said back Naruto. Also, I'm mended, she countered. On the off chance that you hurt him, you are no more excellent. This made Naruto's eyes extend. He dropped Tai Lung as he grasped his head in torment. Escape my head, yelled Naruto as his voice moved. The red energy started to stream back within him gradually until essentially nothing remained. He tumbled to his knees, with Tigress actually holding him from behind. He turned and she looked and saw his eyes were back to blue. He glared when he took a gander at her. She had tears tumbling from her eyes and looked unquestionably miserable. Tigress, he murmured. He put his hand on her cheek, making her unknowingly nestle into, and cleaned her tears away. Much obliged. For what? She asked, becoming flushed. She was again appreciative that her fur concealed her blush. Saving me. If not for you then I could have transformed into a beast. She recently grinned and embraced him, which he cheerfully returned. Might I at any point ask something? Indeed, she said with a cocked eyebrow. Is what he said valid? He asked, showing to Tai Lung, who was presently oblivious. Valid? She asked in disarray. That you love me, he explained. Her eyes broadened before she started to falter. Following an entertaining couple of moments, Naruto shut her up with a kiss that stunned her. After a second, she returned it. They split away following a second. I truly do cherish you, she said. He grinned. I love you as well. Well, that is entertaining, said Tai Lung as he stood yet shakily and obviously his right arm was broken. You can't rout me, he gasped. You're simply a stupid nine-tailed fox. He attempted to utilize a nerve assault on Naruto, yet he got his finger effortlessly. I'm not a moronic nine-followed fox, said Naruto. I'm simply Naruto Uzumaki, the nine-followed fox and mythical serpent fighter, he said while raising his pinky. Tai Lung saw this and cringed. The wuxi finger hold, he panted out. Goodness, you know this hold? Asked Naruto. Tigress witnessed what was going to and took cover behind Naruto. You're feigning, said Tai Lung, you're feigning. Shifu didn't instruct you that. In reality, he did, expressed Naruto prior to flexing his pinky. Trust it, he said before a brilliant energy shock wave impacted through the valley. Every one of the residents got back to the valley, accepting that the fight was over when they saw a brilliant energy. A residue cloud assembled all around the valley and they couldn't see anything. At long last, following a moment, two shadows showed up through the cloud. They held up as the figures gradually ventured forward and the residue cloud gradually lifted. They were stunned to see Tigress supporting Naruto behind her. They halted and the locals generally cheered, reciting, Mythical Beast Champion. Method for going Naruto, yelled Iam and Tucci from the group. The group then isolated and looked as four of the irate five strolled forward. "Hello folks," said Naruto. "Ace," they said in kind as they bowed. He turned and saw Tigress grinning at him. "Expert," she said with her head bowed. He grinned prior to shifting it up and kissing her. Obviously this stunned everyone that was watching, aside from Iam who murmured, referred to it as. They isolated and Naruto murmured, "Expert Naruto has a decent ring to it." He then extended his eyes and wheezed out, "Expert Shifu." He let go of Tigress and hurried to the sanctuary. When there he ran inside and saw Shifu lying close to the moon pool. "Expert Shifu, would you say you are all right?" He turned Shifu over and saw him open his eyes. "Naruto, you're alive or we're both dead," he said. "No expert, I didn't bite the dust, I crushed Tai Lung." "You did?" asked Shifu with Naruto gesturing. "Goodness, it is as Oogway anticipated." He checked Naruto, "You are the mythical beast champion, you experience carried harmony to this valley, and to me, much obliged," he expressed feebly prior to shutting his eyes out. "No," yelled Naruto, "expert. No, 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 kindly don't kick the bucket." "I'm not kicking the bucket you numbskull," yelled back Shifu prior to revising himself, "Dragon champion, I'm just settled, at long last," he expressed resting and shutting his eyes happily. Naruto grinned and left the sanctuary. At the entry stood Tigress. "How is he?" she asked stressed. "He just discovered a sense of harmony," said Naruto, "despite the fact that to me it simply looks as though he is sleeping." "I see," she grinning. Naruto strolled over to her, kissed her, and afterward embraced her. "So what now, sweetheart of the winged serpent fighter?" he asked, making her snicker daintily. "I don't have the foggiest idea, perhaps everybody requirements to rest now," she said. Yawning, Naruto said, "Smart thought," gives up, and the two of them strolled into the sanctuary to rest, appreciative that the fight was finished and that they had seen as one another. Much to their dismay that a significantly more noteworthy legend would before long start.